Am I recording? Yeah, okay. So there's an alternative universe where this video gets like 100,000 views and it's going to be a bunch of people watching who've never seen me before. Hopefully we're in that universe and not in the universe where this gets like 6 views. So for the 100,000 people watching who've never seen me before, my name is Chris. I'm a teacher. I'm from Detroit. The people who have seen me before, this is just another summer of torture. This is like my 5th time taking a break and coming back, taking a break and coming back, taking a break and coming back from YouTube. So hopefully I'll be consistent this time. I know last summer I dropped like 2 videos, never came back. The summer before last, I dropped 1 video, never came back. So, I'm trying to get a head start early. It's June, trying to get a video out instead of in July or in August before I got to go back to school and teach. So with this, I don't even know what I'm be talking about in this video. And my neighbor's dog just started barking. So I'm gonna just turn the gain all the way down on my mic and hopefully y'all can still hear me. But like I said, I don't even know what I'm about to be talking about. I'm gonna use my journal entry from today to kind of guide me on what I want to discuss. I have an idea, right? I want to talk about why I'm always coming back and getting off of YouTube, right? And why that sort of habit is present throughout like a lot of the things that I do in my life, right? I tend to be what I would like to call a habitual ball dropper. You feel me? Like I got the ball, right? Whether somebody passed the ball to me or I picked the ball up. When I get the ball, I freeze and I turn the ball over. I might take a dribble, lose the ball might get stripped out my hands. I might try to dribble, go for a layup and blow it. Like, not that the defense made me miss, but I just blew the layup, right? Like I'm just dropping the ball on things that I have to do, my obligations, things that I commit to. You feel me? And shout out to Barriers and Bisa Butler on the tee. But yeah, so I'm a habitual ball dropper. I just want to get a video out because I know myself. And what I'll do is sit for 2 months trying to think of a video topic and then never do it. Or I'll do it and then I spend so much time trying to think of a topic that I'm like, I'm not going to take the time to think of another one. I have 2 reasons why I'm a habitual ball dropper. And I wrote them down. I'm trying to find them. Oh, here we go. Right. My procrastination. Had a lot of time to think about where my procrastination comes from. Where does this resistance to doing things that require time and effort come from? And I have 2 main reasons that I was able to think of today while I was writing. Of course, I'm sure it's more, or I'm sure if I went and got some help from a professional mental health specialist, they could tell me a few more things. But just off the top, I got 2 main reasons. The first reason why I'm a habitual ball dropper, why I'm always procrastinating, right, or just not doing the thing I committed to do, is I believe in expertise. I believe in professions. I believe in putting in your 10,000 hours. I'm also morbidly afraid of sounding dumb. Sometimes I have these intellectual insecurities and creative insecurities that lead me to think that I'm not smart enough to get on camera and start sharing my thoughts and opinions, or I'm not creative enough to be setting up a camera and a mic and be on here talking, right? And the irony in that is that I've done this before. Like my first stint on YouTube during the pandemic when I was a sophomore in college, for about 2 years, I was a relatively successful YouTuber, like the most relative of relative. Like my peak, I was at like just under 4,000 subs. I was monetized. I had a Patreon going. I was bringing in like anywhere from $300 to $600 a month off YouTube and Patreon, and as a college student, $300 to $600 a month off YouTube and Patreon was like I was rich. You feel me? So the insecurity of not feeling smart enough or creative enough to do this thing, I have this battle with myself because it's like history says otherwise. History would say that I am capable of doing this, right? History doesn't tell me I'm some sort of super genius or I'm some sort of authority on a whole bunch of topics. history wouldn't tell me I'm like the greatest videographer of all time and I got the best camera setup and the best, the best edits and whatnot. It don't tell me that, but history does tell me I could set up a camera, set up a microphone, or set up a phone, and I can talk to it, and I can give thoughtful insight. I can give well-read opinions, right? Substantiated opinions. I'm not an idiot. I'm not dumb. I'm a relatively creative person. I'm halfway of a smart dude, I would say, just a little bit. But sometimes I'm just like, there's people out there who study certain topics and they research and they put in the work. And like I said, 10,000 hours, like they've spent countless nights just reading, writing, consuming information, producing information and knowledge on a topic or on a couple different topics. And they're an expert in that thing. And it's like, it's so many experts on this platform that a person could listen to talk about something that I want to talk about. I'm like, why would I get on here and talk about that thing when I'm not an expert? I might be well read on something, relatively well read. I might have read a few books on something or, whatever. I might have a wealth of experience that I could share that might provide a little bit of insight on something. But sometimes I'm just like, what's the point? Like, just point people into the direction of the experts and call it a day, And on the creative end, as much as I like to produce art, I don't do it often. Is my mic still on? Yeah, okay, we cool. I'm not doing too much editing today, so we just gonna leave that in. I'm a relatively creative dude. I'm saying relatively a lot, right? It's probably like the 8th time I've said relatively, but when I have those insecurities, I have to remind myself I used to be a YouTuber, quote unquote. I've made very pretty videos. I have paintings that I've made like sitting on my windowsill right there. I used to make clothes, design clothes, paint on clothes, things of that nature. And so I have to remind myself like I am capable of doing this thing, I'm not going to keep rambling. I'm just this is like a train of thought video, but I don't want to just keep beating a dead horse. So the first reason why I'm a habitual ball dropper when it comes to like YouTube or a lot of the things that I commit to in my personal life is because of intellectual and creative insecurities, right? I see experts out there, people who really do this, and sometimes I think I'm just not good enough. I need to put in more time, more effort to get to that level. But realistically, I can never get to that level if I don't just do the thing, right? Like I can't be a somewhat successful dude who does YouTube videos if I don't just get on here and make YouTube videos. You know what I'm saying? I can't just read and study my way into becoming a successful content creator on YouTube. You get what I'm saying? So that's reason number one. Now the second reason, which is a much more introspective and a much more brutally honest reason, is because I suffer from what I would like to call do it when I feel like ism. Do it when I feel like ism. I tend to only do things when I feel like it. And when do I feel like it? Well, I feel like doing things when I can look at the situation and I can say, okay, I can put in a little bit of investment and this little bit of investment will result in somewhat of a return, right? I can put forth a little bit of energy, I'll get some energy back, right? Or if I could recognize it, if I put in a lot of effort and a lot of energy, a lot of time, and I'm gonna get a big return back, right? But I still have the childlike immaturity sometimes where if I'm looking at something and it's not like, if I put in effort, I'm not going to get the effort back in return, or the energy back in return, rather, I don't want to do it, right? And that's a childish way of thinking. Like, yeah, as a child, it's like, yeah, I don't want to do the hard thing. If something is hard, I don't want to do it. If something is going to take a lot of effort and I'm only going to get a little bit return, I don't want to do it. Like, who cares about foresight and who cares about the compound effect of doing the hard thing over and over until that big return does hit? Like, who wants to think that for? It's a childish way of thinking. I don't have that with everything. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not just out here just free balling life, no draws, like just being completely irresponsible. But I notice it in my life when it comes to things that I voluntarily oblige for myself if I worded that right. Voluntary obligations, I'll just say it that way. I notice it when I sign myself up for voluntary obligations, that where it's like, if I don't get it done, it's not like the world is going to end. It's not like I'm not going to wake up tomorrow. It's not like I'm going to lose everything, right? When I sign myself up for these voluntary obligations, when I feel like doing them, or in other words, when I look at the obligation and I say, okay, if I do this, I already know what the outcome is going to be. It's not a gamble. It's like input, output. Put in one, put in another one, you get out of two, right? If it makes mathematical sense, then I'm much more likely to do it. However, as an adult, most decisions are gambles, right? Or it's not even a gamble, it's just a responsibility that you sign up for. It's like, okay, if I said I'm gonna do this, regardless of what the return may be, I'm gonna just do it. You know, with the understanding that I am putting my energy towards something where in the long run, there will be a return for it. But, you know, you do what you gotta do because you a grown up, right? I just turned 26. So, you know, in adult years, I'm really only 6 years old. So figuring this thing out. You know, I think I'm doing pretty okay, but, you know, still just ironing out them kinks. And where do I think that comes from? So I think that comes from being good at school. I think that level of procrastination and that like entitlement of my energy, where it's like, if I can't 100% guarantee what the outcome is going to be, then I don't want to do it. I think that comes from being good at school. Right? Growing up, I was always good at school, not good in school, but I'm saying good at school very intentionally, where I just had a talent for picking up things quickly and being able to do an assignment and get a good grade on it. I was able to learn things quickly and get good grades on exams. I was always a really good writer. So if I had to do an essay, I've always got good grades on essays, right? And that was from pre-K all the way through college, right? I think I took like 15 or 14 AP and IB classes in high school. Never studied through those. I just did the work, paid attention in class, and coasted on through with a little whatever 4.23 GPA, whatever I had. Went to college, went to University of Michigan, studied physiology, business management. Never studied, right? The way I got through college, I would get the syllabus. I would break down all the points, and I would figure out what's the minimal amount of work I could do to get a B as long as I got A's on the exams. Like, I was one of them type of kids. I'm just good at school. I'm not some sort of like super genius or some sort of prodigy. I was just good at school. And so being good at school resulted in being fed a lot of promises that like being good at school was going to grant me some super success in life, right? That I was just going to be, you know, have everything I want and be the president and be an astronaut and be a firefighter and be a Power Ranger and all of that, right? But, you know, and while I was a kid, I wasn't even paying attention to none of that. You know, I was never arrogant or self-absorbed about being good at school. It didn't really mean much to me because it was easy, right? It's not like I was putting forth effort to something, getting this return, and now I'm boasting and I'm like hyper confident. No, it was just like I'm good at school. You know, people compliment me or whatever for grades and stuff. It didn't really mean nothing to me. Now, as an adult, I'm noticing the side effect of that. It's not a conscious thing, right? It's not like, oh, I have this obligation and I just don't want to do it, so I'm gonna just sit on the couch instead and do nothing. No, it's more of it's an actions based chain reaction where if I don't sit to reflect, I won't really understand why I'm doing that thing, right? For example, or not for example, but like I'm gonna paint the picture of what it feels like, right? Let's say I have a commitment and I say I'm gonna have something done by this day, right? Now, this commitment is something that I'm doing with people I know in my personal life. It's not something that's paying the bills. It's not something that I need to survive. It's not something that, you know, if I don't do it, the world is going to explode. It's just something that we're doing, that we're putting our time and energy and effort towards to hopefully turn it into something prosperous, for us and people beyond. So I say, okay, I'm gonna have this thing done by this day. Let's say I give myself 5 days. It's Monday, I'm gonna have this thing done by Friday, right? What happens is I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this thing, feeling good. I might have an idea of something. I might know what I want to do. But then when it comes time to actually take action on what I said I'm gonna do, my brain just start doing backflips, and it starts to build obstacles. So I'll tell myself, I got this idea. I want to do this. Okay, I'm gonna start tonight, and then I'll do this part tomorrow, do this part on Wednesday, take a break on Thursday, finish Friday, have it done, boom, shabada shabang. But what my brain does is when it's time to sit down and do the work, it's like a short circuit. It's just like all the thoughts get muddled, get really cloudy, real fuzzy. My train of thought escapes me. I can't focus on what the plan was. I start to think I should do something else, but no, I should do something else. I need to do this other thing. I need to do this other thing. And then it's that paralysis by analysis, where now I've stressed myself out thinking about all these other different ways I should do it and blah, blah, blah. Then now I'm zapped. I'm mentally drained. I've done nothing. Then I start to feel guilty because it's like, okay, I said I'm gonna do this thing. I tried to start, but I couldn't focus. Like, is it something wrong? Am I lazy? Am I just too unfocused? Am I not committed to this thing? Do I not really want it? So then once I start feeling guilty, the way that I cope, right, my coping mechanism for that guilt is to then relinquish the thought and the feelings put towards that commitment, right? Basically what I'm trying to say is I stop caring. I withdraw all care. I hit this like nihilistic point where it's like, oh well, if I don't do it, it's not like the world gonna end. If I don't do it, I'm not gonna lose nothing. If I don't do it, oh well, I'm gonna let some people down, but whatever. If I don't do it, oh well, who cares? It becomes a very much so a who cares, why does this matter sort of internal dialogue, right? And then that cycle just continues over and over and over again, right? Empty promise of what I'm gonna do leads into failure to execute, leads into guilt, leads into apathy. Empty promise, failed execution, guilt, apathy, and that cycle just continues and loops and loops and loops and loops and loops around. And I'm sure there's a name for that, but like I said, I'm not no expert on nothing. Let me not say on nothing. I'm not no expert on this, what I'm talking about, this whole, this aspect of psychology. I'm sure there's some sort of like, Jungian, archetype that would explain all of what I'm saying right now, but I don't know it. Maybe I'll need to do some research and find that out. But yeah, that's all it really is when it comes to this YouTube thing, but with a lot of things that I try to do outside of work and outside of, necessities. Trying to change it. Let me not even say trying. I am changing it. Jesus. I am getting better. I am changing. It's just, it take time. When I can look back at a year from today, like, last year or the year before last, I can say I've grown a lot in that aspect, but it's still a lot of growth to do, because the more you chip away, the more you find. And then the more you find, it's the more you want to fix and the more you want to figure out and the more you want to have an explanation and a theory for, and then you want to act on that theory and blah, blah, blah. My neighbor's dog is barking again and I just hit my knee on the table. So maybe that's my cue to wrap this up, and I'm at like 20 minutes almost, so I don't need to keep going anyway. But yeah, I just wanted to sit down and record something. I know this is not a good video. I ain't been on camera in like a year, so I know I'm rusty. I know this is probably like 80% nonsense, but I just want to get the ball rolling. Drop something today, and then once it's physics, right? It's easier to accelerate when you already moving, right? The hardest point to start is the start. That's where it requires the most effort. So I'm trying to get this ball rolling now, just nudge it just a little bit, do it. Then I'm gonna want to do another video in like 2-3 days. I'm gonna drop another one. I'm gonna just nudge the ball a little bit more until eventually it becomes a habit. And then I want to put more effort into the videos. And then I'll be back to where I want to be, you know, talking about things of actual substance, giving my takes on current events or, you know, things like that. I don't really know what I want to do with this channel. I just know I want to get back on YouTube because I love long form content. I love watching long form content, and I read so much and I watch so much and I take so many notes on things, but I'm not producing enough. Like my consumption to production ratio is like 100,000 to 0.1. I need to raise it. So I just want to produce. I got to produce something. So, you know, I'm a teacher. I don't work in the summer. So I have a lot of extra time where I can put towards other responsibilities and then towards hobbies like this. So I'm hoping this summer is just going to be a summer of me pumping out content. I'm hoping by like July, I'm a lot more comfortable. I'm back in my element and I'll be, you know, willing to put more effort towards the videos. But I know for now, like what I did last summer, if y'all was there last summer with me, them 2 videos I dropped, I liked them, but I hated writing scripts for them videos, bro. Like, and not even hating writing the script. I'm lying. I hated reading the script and recording, right? Because I love to write. So writing the script was cool. When it came time to record the script and then have to edit it and make it look all clean and, you know, all of that, I can't do that no more. So no more scripts from me until, you know, this will allow me to pay for an editor. Right. If I had somebody who can edit and chop this up for me, cool. I could make a script all day, but I can't do the scripts. So I kind of like what I did today, where I use my journal entry to guide me in the direction of what I wanted to talk about instead of just talking about, you know, I don't know, something I really ain't want to talk about. Last thing, you know, the funny part, and I wrote about this before I hopped on camera. The funny thing is, I had went to the gym and I came home and I took a shower. And normally, like, I'm a very intense shower thinker. Like my shower thoughts be hard as hell. I ain't gonna lie. Like, you know, and so I was hoping that today I would get in the shower, have my normal shower thoughts, and already know what I wanted to record today. But because of the way my brain works, and I knew I committed to recording a video today, I get in the shower, I start thinking, and then my brain just stopped working. I don't know what that noise was, but I get in the shower. Instead of having my typical shower thoughts, it was just everything was scrambled. I couldn't figure out nothing. I couldn't piece together a thought to save my life. So, you know, use this writing technique to just flush out any ruminating thoughts. You know, when I'm writing, it's just anything that comes to my brain, I'm gonna just let it flow. And then use that to get that off my chest. Because clearly if I'm writing it, that means I probably want to talk about it. So let me stop. I'm at 23 minutes. This is way too long. I don't have no intro or outro for y'all today. So appreciate you. Peace.